Have you ever found yourself in this situation? A girl texts you at midnight just to ask, "Are you asleep?" Or perhaps her eyes often drift towards you, but as soon as you look back, she quickly turns away. Women rarely openly confess their feelings, but if you're sharp and aware, you'll notice the signs. Today, we're going to explore 11 subtle signs a woman might secretly like you, with a calm, unhurried, and realistic Stoic perspective. The Stoic foundation in Stoicism: you can't control other people. You can only control yourself, your thoughts, actions, and emotions. So instead of asking, "Does she like me?" learn to observe, acknowledge, and let feelings come naturally. The following 11 signs will help you recognize these subtle clues. But remember, they're not for wishful thinking, but for understanding the truth and responding with poise. Her eyes search for you and quickly look away. Have you ever caught a woman's gaze, only for her to look away the moment you start noticing? She might often glance at you from a distance, and when you turn around, she immediately looks away. During a meeting, she might not sit next to you, but you can always feel her eyes on you. Don't jump to conclusions. Just observe. Don't burst out laughing. Don't overact. That moment lasts less than a second. But if you're observant, you'll know it's not a coincidence. A Stoic learns to observe the world with clarity, without judgment, without expectation. And the first thing a Stoic will notice is nonverbal communication. A fleeting glance. It may seem like just a passing motion in space. But if it repeats, if those eyes seek you out more than once in the same evening, it's not from the mouth, but from the heart. And sometimes the heart speaks in silence. John, a 60-year-old man, recalls the first time he noticed his current partner in a drawing class. "I was sketching a vase, and I kept feeling someone was looking at me. When I turned, she immediately looked away, pretending to study the color palette. But this happened 3 times during that class. On the 4th time, I smiled. She blushed." John didn't rush. He observed, then responded with respect. What to do when you catch that gaze? 1. Don't rush into action. A Stoic doesn't react, they reflect. Don't assume she likes you. Just see and acknowledge. 2. Look for other signs. Eye contact often comes with changes in posture, tone of voice, or spontaneous appearances around you. 3. Create a safe moment. If you like her too, try returning a gentle look, a smile. Nothing too forceful, just a silent whisper, "I see you too." A Stoic conclusion: not every glance is a signal, but if you live slowly with sensitivity, you'll learn to listen to the things that were never spoken. And in this noisy world, that might just be the deepest connection between 2 people. 2. Initiating small talk about little things. Have you ever noticed that some women never talk to you unless they have a specific reason? Asking for homework, borrowing a pen, or asking for a favor. Signs: she asks about your interests. How your day went, what you're having for lunch. Where do you usually get your coffee? A seemingly innocent question. Don't take it lightly, but don't immediately assume, "She's into me." Have a sincere conversation, but keep the pace slow. But then there are those who don't need a reason. They just find ways to start small talks, even if it's about the tiniest things. "Hot day, huh? Hey, what time did you get off work yesterday? I noticed you usually drink black coffee. Isn't that bitter?" On the surface, it seems totally normal. Some might even think, "She's just being polite." But from a Stoic perspective, every action has a reason. And those small things are big signals. What's unnecessary will not exist. Marcus Aurelius once said, "If an action has no purpose, it wouldn't happen." Women, especially mature ones, don't waste time on pointless conversations. If she's not interested in you, she won't find a reason to keep the conversation going, especially about trivial things. So if she's consistently starting conversations about little things, it's her way of cautiously trying to connect with you, without making a big show of it. John, 58, recalls how every time he went to his community yoga class, a woman named Lisa would come up to him. Not to ask anything specific, but just to make small talk. Like, you did that pose really well last time. I've been trying to copy it, but can't get it right. It's really crowded today. Must be because the weather's nice. At first, John thought she was just being polite, but gradually he realized she was always the one starting the conversation. And what stood out was, those little conversations didn't matter much, but they made him feel worn and close. Why are they little talks? Because they don't pressure you, making it easy to engage and keep the conversation going. Because they help her gauge your emotions. Do you respond happily? Are you willing to keep talking? Because they are her way of testing the waters, seeing if you're a pleasant, kind person. If you're the one hearing those little things from her, what should you do? 1. Don't brush it off. Don't just say, "uh-huh," and move on. Listen and respond genuinely. If she says, "It's so hot today," you could respond, "Yeah, do you walk outside often? I bet it's unbearable out there today." 2. Gently expand the conversation. Ask a simple question back. Don't suddenly ask about her age or relationship status. 3. Respect her pace. If she feels you're perceptive enough to understand and not rush into anything big, she'll continue to open up. If a woman frequently starts small conversations with you about things that seem insignificant, it's not random. It's a sign of quiet interest and her subtle initiative. Don't miss the precious moments just because you're waiting for a big sign. The perceptive ones always start with the small things. 3. Light accidental touches. She touches your hand when handing you something or accidentally stands a bit closer to you than usual. When looking at a phone together, she leans in a bit more than necessary. She doesn't pull back, but neither does she rush forward. She simply stays present, and it's the frequency of these touches that matters. Some things can't be said with words, but the body unintentionally reveals them. In everyday life, women are typically very cautious about creating personal space. They don't just let anyone touch them, and they certainly don't seek out opportunities to touch others, unless there's a special kind of interest. So pay attention. Does she often lightly touch your hand when she laughs? When you both look at the phone, does she lean in closer than necessary? Or when you hand her something, does she not rush to take it, letting your hands touch for a moment longer? These actions are not as accidental as they may seem. In body language, touch is a form of emotional communication. It creates connection and triggers oxytocin, the hormone that scientists call the love hormone, which makes people feel closer and more trusting of each other. Imagine you're Jack, a 60-year-old single man who recently joined a drawing class at a local community center. In the class, there's a woman named Linda. Every time you hold a pencil incorrectly, Linda gently takes your hand and adjusts it. Each time, she smiles and looks you in the eye with a soft gaze, a hint of shyness, but she doesn't pull her hand away immediately. You might think it's just normal help, but the truth is, if she wasn't interested, she would have simply guided you with words. The accidental touches repeating again and again? Not a coincidence anymore. So, what should you do? Stoicism teaches us to observe with clarity, but not rush to label emotions. Don't assume she likes you just after one touch. Pay attention to the frequency, context, and the body language that accompanies it. Observe whether she actively creates more moments of closeness. If these signs repeat, you're entitled to think that something may be developing on the other side. And in that case, what you need isn't rushing into action. It's slowness, respect, and sensitivity, because real feelings always require sincerity, not a rush to claim them. 4. She gets slightly jealous when you talk about someone else. You talk about a female coworker who's both smart and funny. She smiles, but you notice something different in her eyes. A brief flicker of discomfort, which she quickly masks with a joke. This isn't dramatic jealousy. No tears, no accusations, but a feeling of, why does he seem so happy when talking about that girl? According to behavioral psychology, when someone cares about you, they pay attention to threats that could take you away from them. It's a very instinctual response, a sign that they've already invested feelings in you. She doesn't say much. Maybe she just asks, "Who's that girl?" or, "You seem to really like her." Huh? This is when a woman is subtly protecting her place in your heart. She may not be ready to admit her feelings yet, but she doesn't want to share you with anyone else. As a Stoic, you don't need to overreact. Observe. Don't jump to conclusions that she's trying to control or demand anything. Instead, try asking a simple question. You're asking because you care about me, right? This question might open up a very honest emotional door. If she likes you, this could be the moment when she stops hiding her feelings. So, if a girl shows a little jealousy when you mention someone else, don't overlook it. In Stoic terms, this isn't just an emotion, it's a signal, a form of inner conflict when feelings haven't been admitted yet, but are strong enough to make her feel uneasy. 5. She remembers the small details about you, a subtle yet powerful sign. She remembers what you like to eat, what kind of music you hate, things you've said. "You told me you don't eat onions. I remember." This is a sign with depth, but it still takes time to confirm. There's something strange about how people express affection. When the heart begins to stir, the brain starts to record every detail about that person, almost unconsciously, as a way to keep them closer. Think about it. You casually mention to a girl that you're allergic to strawberries. The conversation lasts only a few seconds, just while you're waiting for your food. A normal person wouldn't think much of it. But a week later, when you're at a cafe, she asks the server to change your dish to one without strawberries because you're allergic, remember? That's not just a good memory, that's care. People need to learn to observe actions rather than just listen to words. Epictetus once said, "Don't explain your philosophy, embody it. Don't just say you like someone, show it through your actions." When a woman remembers little details like, "You liked your coffee black," "You once mentioned," "You get nervous before presentations," "You said your mom loves lavender," she remembers all these tiny things, not because she has to, but because she wants to. Mark and Emily's story. Mark is a man of few words. During a conversation with Emily, he casually mentioned that he once got lost at Disneyland as a child and has been afraid of crowds ever since. It was a passing comment, but 2 months later, when a group of friends suggested going to a crowded festival, Emily was the first to suggest, "Maybe we should pick a quieter spot for Mark." Mark was stunned. He had never brought that up again, but Emily remembered. That's when he realized she truly cares. Observe whether she often brings up little things you thought were insignificant. Like, "You mentioned you had a big deadline this week, right? I grabbed you some coffee." Don't rush to label every action as affection. But if a girl consistently remembers personal details about you, chances are you found a special place in her heart. Stoicism also reminds us, don't be swayed by emotions too quickly. Observe long enough to recognize sincerity, not just fleeting actions. In a world full of superficial people who easily forget, if someone remembers the little things about you, you're already luckier than millions of others. Don't underestimate those quiet gestures, because true affection is often hidden in the smallest, seemingly insignificant things. 6. She's often the one to text first, even without a clear reason sign. She texts just to ask what you're doing or share a little story. "I randomly saw something that reminded me of you." Respond warmly, but don't get carried away. Remember, don't react, just observe. This is a sign that many people overlook because it's so subtle, so faint, and sometimes we think it's just being polite. But in reality, if a woman texts you first with no specific reason, that's a sign that emotions are beginning to blossom. The unnecessary things that still repeat themselves, that's what you should pay attention to. Epictetus once said, We are disturbed not by the things that happen, but by our opinions about them. Don't dismiss a text like, "What are you doing?" as normal. Ask yourself, why does she want to know what you're doing instead of taking care of her own business? Let's say your name is Min. You two took the same online course together and only had light social interactions, but in the past few weeks, she's often the one texting first. "Hey, I just saw this meme and it's so you. Are you studying for the course? I feel like this one's a bit tough, right?" Important. She's not texting because something urgent has come up. She's not asking for materials or homework help or favors. She's just texting. This is not an action driven by reason, but by emotion. According to Stoic philosophy, we are not supposed to be controlled by fleeting emotions. But we must not ignore the truth either. If you feel the same way, respond clearly and kindly. Don't just send the message or leave it hanging. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The truth is simple. Those who want the truth won't beat around the bush." You can reply in a way that opens the door to a deeper connection. "Oh, I'm enjoying the course too. How far have you gotten? Is there anything you'd like to work on together?" Or simply suggest, "If you like memes like that, we must have similar tastes. Let's grab a coffee sometime and talk more." If a woman reaches out without a specific reason, it's a sign she wants to be closer to you, even if it's just through a text. In relationships, Stoics don't blindly hope, but they also don't ignore reality. Stay alert and observe, and if you like her too, don't let something as simple as a text go unnoticed. 7. Changing tone and appearance when she sees you. Sign. She speaks more softly, her gaze is gentler, and she dresses more neatly when meeting you one-on-one. Every time you show up, she adjusts her hair or smooths out her clothes. Take note of this as an observer, without arrogance. Have you ever noticed a woman who usually dresses casually and speaks in a neutral tone suddenly becomes gentler, her gaze softer, and even her voice lighter when she's in front of you? This isn't a coincidence. According to behavioral psychology, when someone has feelings for someone else, they unconsciously adjust their tone, the way they speak, and even their posture to make a better impression. It's a biological response to attract attention, known as mirroring, a very powerful connection mechanism. A study from the University of Sussex shows women who feel attracted to someone tend to adjust their tone of voice, making it higher or softer to convey friendliness and femininity. Not only that, but they also take more care with their appearance when they know they will meet that person. From choosing the right lipstick color to picking a dress that makes them feel more confident. You're John. You work in the same team as Emily. Normally, Emily wears jeans and a simple shirt to the office. But recently, every time there's a meeting that you're also attending, you've noticed she wears a dress, applies light makeup, and notably, her voice becomes softer and gentler when speaking with you. You might think, "Oh, maybe she's just dressing up for some event today." But if this keeps happening, and it only happens when you're present, that's a very clear sign. If you feel the same way about her, don't let this sign pass by unnoticed. Take the initiative to start more conversations. Compliment her sincerely. "Today's dress looks great on you, Emily. Subtle, but classy." And pay attention to other signs. Longer eye contact than usual. Small gestures of attention to you, or active listening. A Stoic practitioner is not driven by temporary emotions, but neither do they disregard the world around them. They learn to observe, understand the essence without rushing to judgment. You shouldn't rush into falling in love, but you also shouldn't miss an opportunity to build a meaningful relationship if it comes from sincerity. A change in tone, a gentler gaze, more refined clothing. Sometimes it's not just a coincidence. It could be a woman telling you, "I notice you. Do you know that?" She laughs more when she's around you, and it's not just about the laughs. Sign of interest. Even if the story isn't that funny, she laughs lightly and for longer than usual. Don't try to force more jokes. Just stay comfortable and natural. Have you ever noticed how some people, when they're around someone they secretly like, become naturally more cheerful? They laugh more, their eyes shine brighter, and the presence of the other person seems to make everything feel lighter. A woman is no different. If a girl laughs more when she's around you, not because of something hilarious you just said, but because your presence makes her feel comfortable, safe, and like she can truly be herself, that's an important sign. Imagine this scenario. You and she are having coffee with a group of friends. Throughout the conversation, everyone is having a good time, but every time you say something, even something as simple as, "Man, the traffic today was crazy," she laughs. Not because it's that funny, but because you said it. And she's enjoying that unspoken connection you may not even realize yet. When she occasionally glances at you while laughing, or tries to stifle her laugh but turns her face away to hide her real smile, that's her unspoken emotional language. We can't control others' emotions or actions, but we can observe and learn to analyze the subtle cues from the world around us and respond with wisdom and awareness. As Marcus Aurelius once said, pay attention to what's going on in other people's minds if you want to understand their mood and intentions. So, if you notice that a girl is always happy and laughing more when she's around you, it might be a sign of deeper feelings. It's not as obvious as a confession of love, but it's an emotional data point that a mindful person should listen to. Don't jump to conclusions too quickly. Sometimes people laugh just out of politeness. But if you notice her laughter increasing significantly only when you're around, pay attention. Test the resonance of laughter. Try telling a light joke in the group and watch her reaction. If she laughs first, laughs more than usual, or looks at you while laughing, it's a good sign she's paying more attention to you than most others. Respond with subtlety. When you notice this sign, don't rush to ask, "Do you like me?" Instead, create a safe space for her to express herself more. A smile in return, a kind look, or a simple line like, "I'm glad to see you so happy," can encourage her to open up slowly. In love, not everyone will speak directly, but women often express their feelings through small details, and a smile is one of the most powerful yet silent languages. And if you're sensitive enough to notice this, you not only understand her better, but you also understand yourself better in the role of a mindful observer as a true Stoic. 10. Introducing you to her friends in a special way sign. When she introduces you to her group of friends, she often adds compliments like, "He's so cute, he's really good at this." Don't let the flattery cloud your judgment. This is a moment where you need to observe her friends. They'll reveal a lot about you too. Behavior is the clearest expression of emotion. A person can say anything, but actions, especially when there's no pressure, tell the real story. And one of the most unconscious but meaningful behaviors is how she introduces you to her world. If a woman doesn't care about you, she'll keep her distance. You'll be just a friend, an acquaintance, or worse, you won't even show up in any stories she tells her friends. But if she has feelings for you, even quietly, you'll notice a very subtle yet unmistakable difference. She introduces you to her friends in a special way. She doesn't say, "This is John, my friend." Instead, she says, "This is John, the one I keep talking about. John, the guy who helped me with that work thing last time." Or even, "Everyone, this is John, the one I grab coffee with on weekends and talk about random stuff." Pay attention. She's tying you into a story, a piece of her life. This shows that you're no longer an outsider. You've been named, you've got a place, and you hold some emotional value in her world, even if she hasn't said it outright. Imagine a casual evening at a birthday party for one of her friends. You walk in, and she introduces you not with reluctance, but with a bright-eyed smile and a natural tone. "Ah, this is Alex, the guy I often ask for advice on work stuff. I've learned so much from him." Now, don't just listen to the introduction. Pay attention to her friends' reactions. You'll notice a bit of surprise, a little curiosity, as if they've already heard about you. In behavioral psychology, introducing someone to a close-knit group of friends is an implicit commitment. It shows trust, pride, and sometimes a desire for you to become part of her inner world. As Stoics say, don't chase appearances, observe intentions through actions. So, what should you do if you notice this sign? 1. Don't rush it. Women often test their feelings by giving you a little chance to take things forward. 2. Respond with respect. Compliment her in front of her friends. This deepens the connection and shows respect. 3. Engage with her friends. When you show that you're a mature, trustworthy person in the eyes of her close ones, the relationship will naturally develop. If a woman introduces you with a story, an emotion, or a memory, know this: you're no longer just an outsider. That's a wordless message, but it speaks louder than any confession of love. Have you ever been introduced like this? How did it feel? Share your story in the comments. I'll read them all. Don't forget, this is just sign number 10, and there are many more subtle gestures to be analyzed in upcoming videos. Hit subscribe and ring the bell if you want to understand women better, not to control them, but to love them the right way. 11. She often compares others to you. Have you ever noticed that a woman in your life, when talking to you, frequently compares you to others? And these comparisons aren't always negative. In fact, she might be doing this for a very special reason. She likes you. According to Stoic philosophy, when a woman compares you to someone else, it could be a sign of deep interest. Why? Because when we feel a connection with someone, we often subconsciously try to place them into a broader context to better understand their role in our lives. When she says, my friend John is really good at cooking, but I think you cook just as well. Maybe you could teach me a few dishes? This is not just a compliment. It's an unconscious comparison between you and someone else she knows. In fact, this could be her way of saying that she cares about you and is also testing how you react when placed alongside others. She says, my friend Lisa loves hiking, but I feel like going with you would be way more fun. Do you agree? Here, she's not only comparing you to Lisa, but also subtly emphasizing that she sees special qualities in you that Lisa doesn't have. We learn that human emotions are often driven by expectations and attachment. When a woman compares you to someone else, she's not just trying to figure you out. She's trying to assess whether you're worthy of her attention. This is a powerful signal she's not showing directly, but through her words and actions, she's testing how much influence you have in her life. So what should you do? 1. Don't overreact. When she compares you to someone else, don't let yourself feel hurt or jealous. This is how she's testing things out. According to Stoic philosophy, we can't control other people's actions, but we can control how we respond. 2. Respond with confidence. Instead of feeling pressured by the comparison, see it as an opportunity to showcase your self-assurance. You could gently say, "Thanks for the compliment. I think we'll have a great time exploring new things together." Read between the lines. Understand that these comparisons could be a sign she's trying to see if you're someone she could share her life with. Don't rush to conclusions. Listen carefully and observe her next moves. So, if a woman frequently compares you to others, don't think she's just trying to put you down. In reality, it could be her way of expressing her interest and getting to know you more deeply. From a Stoic perspective, the key is to stay calm and confident, because feelings of attraction can manifest in the smallest signs like these. In relationships, what matters is not whether you know if she likes you. It's about knowing where you stand, what you feel, and acting with wisdom. Remember the Stoic saying, if affection comes, accept it calmly. If it doesn't, walk away with gratitude. Have you noticed any of these signs before? Or have you ever missed someone who was quietly liking you? Share your thoughts in the comments. Hit subscribe for more deep insights on love, psychology, and living a calm life.